Is it your friend's birthday? No. Do you want to gift them something? No. Do you want to ruin their day? No. If you said yes to all of those, then wild animal racing is the perfect game for you. Wild Animal Racing was made by Paul Bird, who is well known for making a book, a YouTube channel, and like 3 other games. And they're all something.
One look at the Steam page will tell you that this game is probably not going to be good, because, well, look at that giraffe, it's not exactly high quality. It's tagged as sexual content and Cold War, which are definitely correct. Scroll down a bit and you'll find the reviews section, which is 3 out-of-context quotes from different YouTubers. The About section contains a poem from the perspective of the guy that, like, owns Wild Animal Racing or something, and it's a pretty surprising read. That's probably the nicest way to put it. On the island of Zigzag Zog, in the sea of the Uber-Dee-Doo, are some amazing creatures that you'd never see in a zoo. They walk upright on 2 legs, like some kind of aliens from Mars, but the strangest thing, you would not believe, is that these animals are driving cars. A giraffe that bleats, a hippo that moos, they are the strangest beasts.
So I brought them here to Europe. They've signed on the dotted line. Now people pay to see them race, and the money's all mine. You see, there's something more amazing than animals and cars. And that's the magic of contract law and drinking in bars.
To the right of the Steam page, you can find the quick reference, which is just like a small PDF manual. I don't know why they didn't just call it a manual, but alright. Welcome to the splantabulous world of wild animal racing. Sure, but what does that little one next to splantabulous mean? A word did not exist in the English language to describe wild animal racing, and so one had to be invented.
Splantabulous. Adjective. Paul Bird, what the fuck?
You take control of one of the 6 animal characters. They all function the exact same gameplay-wise, so it doesn't really matter which one you pick. So I picked Ginger the Giraffe because he really represents me spiritually. There are 4 sets of races, each containing 3 races in them. This adds up to a total of 12 racetracks in the entire game, which is a tiny amount. I picked roads as my first one because cars usually drive on roads, and it was also the first one on the list. The first racetrack on the road section is Coastal Road. Wow, exciting.
Don't worry, I'm also on the edge of my city.
The UI, as you can see, is a Verdana font-filled nightmare with 2 speedometers that clip into each other, so you can check whether you're going 60 kilometers an hour or 60 kilometers an hour. The AI is stubborn as hell. I swear they all have the exact same pathing, so they all like clump together, and this makes overtaking them extremely hard without exploiting the overpowered items. For example, the rocket and banana items, they can be spammed as much as you want until you lose the item after a set amount of time. You can abuse these 2 facts by throwing as many bananas as possible into the AI's pathing, and it will crash into every single one. If you manage to pull this off, the AI decides that not even they want to play the game, and then they start to race backwards. Honestly, abusing this was a ton of fun, as it felt really satisfying to absolutely dunk on the AI for deciding to rubber band into first place every time I even thought about winning. Here's a refresher for people that don't know what rubber banding is. Rubber banding is when racing games speed up the computer players when you're really far into first place. It's a trick that's used to bounce the game by making it you can't stay in first place easily for the whole race. Sure, you can argue that Mario 64 was pretty infamous for its rubber banding, but Wild Animal Racing will launch the other racers into overdrive when you're first, or sometimes the AI will decide to work together to push you away from the track, so you'll go from first to 6th in the last second. No, fuck off! I hate you so much. Why? You do have one massive advantage over the AI, and that is the ability to use items. The AI will try to drive into the items, but they can't use them, or even pick them up. Yeah, it's only mostly unfair. Describing how a game like this controls is pretty difficult. but I'll give it a shot since last time I just described everything as fine. Yeah, it wasn't too helpful. So, I've come up with a big brain idea. Wild Animal Racing controls like a tricycle. I know, it sounds really dumb, but stay with me here. Just like a tricycle, turning around corners is really slow, and you can easily under or overshoot it since turning feels extremely stiff. At least on a tricycle you can put your feet out to correct your turn. If you get hit in the back wheels, you'll veer completely out of control, and it's a pain to speed up, since the only way to become faster is to collect the floating yellow things. See? It almost works. Some of the levels feel like they're designed without how the game functions in mind. The best example of this would be the rally races. It's meant to have bumpy roads and proper terrain for you to drive over, except it slows you down by a massive amount in the certain parts. These levels are the worst. Especially the Spartan Mountain Pass, the AI would clump together, and it's really difficult to jump over them in this area, so it's just a complete clusterfuck of a level. This is the easiest section to break the AI though, because you can keep spamming bananas in that area. It's literally the only reason I enjoyed this stage, because it was hilarious to watch and get a cheap win. Let's talk about the World Race section. The first race is in Egypt. It's got everything from the pyramids to the pointless bridges that are on the middle of the road. Egyptian classic. Driving on the bridges can cause the same problem with the rally races though, where the slopes will cause you to lose all of your speed, so there's even less reason to go over them. You also have to dodge these inconvenient walls that are placed on the sides of the road. I don't quite get it. The next race is Holland. I don't know how we got from Egypt to Holland, but sure, whatever. This map's terrible because of these windmills. If you're lucky, they won't stop you at all, but since they're spinning, they'll close up the only way forward for a few seconds, and then you'll have to build up speed again. Sure, you can go around it, but that's slower than just waiting for it. I get it, it's Holland, and it's one of the many reasons it's famous is for its windmills, but the way it was translated into a game is anti-fun. I mean, at least it has tulips. I didn't know Holland was popular for that. In fact, I don't know anything about Holland. Before I get into the final map of World Races, let me rant about the entire section for a bit. Alright, first off, in the poem they say that they brought them here to Europe. Take a fat guess where Egypt is. Not in fucking Europe, is it? And I'm not done, because there's also an Iceland racetrack, and take a fat guess which section they put it in. They put it in Rhodes, because apparently Iceland is not a part of the world anymore. Jokes aside, I know it's called World Races, which implies that it will have races from areas across the world, but Holland is still in Europe, so it isn't exactly worldwide, so this causes Egypt to stand out quite badly. This problem is worsened since the final map in that section is Paris, and you can tell it's Paris because it has stock accordion music, and you can see the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe.
Arc de Triomphe.
I bet you're really excited to see how Wild Animal Racing represents these two world-famous monuments.
Man, I really need a boost.
And now, it's time to talk about the final section, which is actually the third section. I've just ordered this really weirdly. It's called Magical. The first level is called Cloudland, with a lowercase L that stands for quality. Unlike other games that have a sky-themed level where you would drive on the clouds and have to not fall off, Wild Animal Racing decides that you have to drive on the sky itself, and the clouds are the solid walls. Other than this weird theming, the level is extremely basic, nothing interesting here. Yeah, fuck you, that's what you get for pushing me into a wall.
Shit.
And now it's time for the final level, Underwater. The entire level is just a narrow tube, and if it really was underwater, then wouldn't the water just flood in? It's not exactly solid or made out of glass or something, but alright, fine, we just had drugs the level, so I can go with this. I gotta be honest though, it really doesn't look like it's underwater. It just looks like that he got a box and slapped a water texture on it. And by looks like, I mean he probably did. Though, at least it's got a shark, and some pictures of fish that clip into the tube. I don't think you tried. Also, 2 of the AI broke and started driving backwards, and I didn't do that. I'm not guilty. If you have been a pretty perceptive punk, then you may have noticed the points counter on the bottom right. The points aren't for just deciding your rank, though, in that section. It's also collected to create a total points number that unlocks cutscenes that they brand as movies. Ooh. I gotta be honest, this is the best part of the entire game. I was literally thinking about grinding out the game just to unlock all of them, but I actually want to do things. So I just went and looked up all of them on YouTube, and while a few of them are really disappointing, especially the last one, they are fucking hilarious. Surprisingly, there's an online multiplayer mode if you want to point and laugh at the game with a few friends.
And so, that's it for Wild Animal Racing. I know I've spent this whole video talking about how confusing the game design choices are and how terrible the UI is, but from what I've seen from the reactions of people and the reviews on the Steam page even, that's the point. Like, this isn't a game you're meant to take seriously and critique for how it plays like I've just done. This is a game where you're meant to point and laugh at it. You're meant to say, haha, that giraffe looks really, really funny, or, wow, look at how the speedometers clip into each other. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Like, Paul Bird has crafted this 3-pound joke of a game just for you to point and laugh at, and from looking at the footage from the video, if you think it looks funny, then go ahead, buy it. It's actually a great laugh, but whether you'll enjoy this game or not comes from whether you think this style of humor is funny. And if you don't. It's a video. I have spent far too long editing this. I was meaning to have this whole thing where I was gonna make it a 5-minute video and that would have been it, you know, that was the intention, because the game, I've only played like half an hour of it and I've gotten the entire experience, and it is getting over 10 minutes. I have really dragged this one on, but I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.